You're probably here on my channel watching this video because you're looking for methods how to make your life more happy, more fulfilled. So obviously there's something missing now that you are looking for to get into your life. And on my channel, I talk about shamanic methods as well as manifestation, because for me, manifestation is a shamanic method, and how these methods can help you to bring everything that you want into your life and then really have a more happy and more fulfilled life that you always want. So for those of you who are new here, my name is Maddie. I'm a biologist and author and a shamanic practitioner. And I help you to integrate these shamanic methods into your everyday life, specifically also about the topic of manifestation. As I said, for me, manifestation is a shamanic method because shamanism basically means everything that has to do with spirits. And so the manifestation works because you are a spirit, you have a spirit, and from a spiritual level, you can manifest things. Manifestation means that, you know, the ideas that you have, the wishes, the things that you want to bring into reality first starts within you. You have an idea about something, you have a desire, an inner how you say that, like stirring, you know. And I think these are divine wishes that we have, something that we want to express and bring into reality, and something that we want to experience. That's why it has to do with shamanism for me. Manifestation has to do with shamanism. It is from a spiritual level that we can manifest the things into our everyday reality. And I think not so many people talk about it. They say, well, you have to do your affirmations and you have to do your scripting or all the other methods that are out there. But it really boils down on you becoming aware of the fact that you have a spirit, that you are the creator. And from that point of view, then it's much easier to attract the things that you want in your life, because you are in a higher energy all the time. You're realizing, wow, wait a minute, I'm more than I think. I'm more than just a human being. I'm more than, you know, just like one of, I don't know how many billion people we have here, but you are a very essential part of everything in the universe. You are a part of everything. And this is a very shamanic view to see the world. In today's video, I want to go a bit more in a specific topic about manifestation, where many people talk about you have to be in the wish fulfilled. You have to feel the emotion first before the thing that you want will come into your life. But what if you can't feel it? What if you can't feel the love that you want to have when the partner is in your life? What if you can't feel abundant? You can't feel the abundance because maybe you never felt how it is to be abundant in your life. Maybe you never felt how it is to be free and these kind of things. And I was at that point in my life because I felt for many years in my life very heavy. I felt depressed, and I had a burnout when I was around 30. I was at the end of my PhD time, and everything was actually working great out for me, but still I felt heavy and I felt drained all the time. I had no ambition anymore to pursue my work or to do anything in life. And back then I started, you know, the meditation, and also learned about the manifestation. And I listened a lot to Dr. Joe Dispenza, where he said, you know, you have to reprogram your body, you have to reprogram your body chemistry. And as a biologist, I understand that. It totally makes sense that, you know, how you feel is everything is really interconnected with your body. The hormones that you have an influence on your mood, have an influence on how your body works. And there are a lot of things, and I think maybe even everything, that you can really influence through your thoughts and mind. But what if you just can't reach that state where you feel like I am abundant, I want to feel abundant, but it's not coming. You don't know how it feels like. And that's where I was. I really, really wanted to feel much lighter. I wanted to feel more ease in my life. And I was sitting on my meditation, you know, cushion, trying to get this emotion running in my body, but it was just not possible. I couldn't find it. I didn't know how it felt like, as if there was always like a dark cloud over my head, raining on me constantly, and I couldn't escape it. So over the years, I tried a lot of different methods. I went to psychotherapy. I did a different yoga and meditation and counseling, coaching. I think I tried really everything. And it was really until I discovered the shamanic work where I found help for me. And I don't want to say that this is the only way, but this is how it worked for me. And I'm just sharing my experience here. And I think it worked because the shamanic work really goes deep. It goes deep on a spiritual level. And I'll give you an example of how this really worked out for me. So I felt very heavy in my life, and there was always that sadness and that anger. I didn't know where it came from, but it was present. It was very present in my life. And so I went to a shamanic practitioner and I told her, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like this all the time and I don't know how to fix it. And so she said, well, let's have a look, and then we went through a couple things. She did a shamanic journey with me, and it turned out that when I was a teenager, there was an abuse. It was also an abuse when I was a kid, but that one, when I was a teenager, that was really the most dominant experience that caused this heaviness and caused that anger within me. And so she did a shamanic journey with me actually to that point where it happened. And then I started remembering things. I always felt there was something in my life. I had kind of like some flash views, some pictures in my head that popped up every once in a while where I thought like maybe there was something. There was that one boy in my village, and I talked about this story before in my videos, where I was about 12 and my parents said, don't go with him. He's not a good person. But, this is just how it goes. People like your parents tell you, don't do this, and then you just do it. And I was fascinated by that boy. He was good looking. He was much older than I was. And I remember that he asked me to come home with him after a birthday party that we both attended. And so I went with him. And after that, it was pretty much blank. I couldn't remember anything. I remember that I was back home then and not what really happened in between. And it was just a very weird situation for me, not knowing what was happened. And later on, there was that rumor that I had kissed him, and I didn't even remember kissing him. So obviously I had like a big piece of my memory missing what happened at that time when I went with this boy. So when we did a shamanic journey, I was back at that situation, and slowly and surely the memory came back. She was holding me, and otherwise I wouldn't have been able to really go through this all. And the way she did it is also not something how I learned it. When I work for clients, I go on a shamanic journey and my spirits work for my client. The client usually is not part of it so that they are not re-traumatized. And when I did it, we both worked together, which was okay for me. I think for me, it really worked, but maybe it's not for everyone. So I was in the situation back, and I felt everything that happened back then. I felt the anger that I had that this boy just did what he wanted with me, and that I had no chance to really push him away. He was much bigger, much taller than I am. I also remember that his brother came in this room as well. So it was really, there was just so much emotion, so much anger, so much hate coming up, so much grief at the same time, disgust. And it was a wave of emotion coming over me, going through my body. And she was holding me while I was screaming, get this, I really was getting this out. And then we rewrote the whole situation. So it was like as it had never happened that way. In the situation, I was closing my eyes during the shamanic journey, and I saw the situation, and I decided to not go with him. And in that situation, I decided that this never happened. So we rewrote the past, that the present has a different outcome. And I know it sounds really crazy. How did that happen? It's like, this happened to you. How can you rewrote it? I don't know how it works, but I can tell you it did work. When I stepped out of her office, I felt so much lighter. It was like someone lifted a burden from my shoulders that was like tons and tons of heaviness that I was not able to push out myself. And I was, as if I was walking on clouds, I felt so much lighter. There was just joy and happiness, and that emotion that I was longing for so long all of a sudden was in my life. And since then, it never disappeared. I never felt that anger anymore. I never felt that heaviness in my life. And that was really, for me, solving and rewriting the whole trauma that I experienced when I was a teenager with this boy, and as that abuse happened to me. And I tell you the story just to illustrate you that, just because you can't feel a certain emotion doesn't mean that you're not, you're doing it wrong. Maybe something really happened to you that is just overriding this, that it brought you out of balance so much that you're not able to access this emotion anymore, that this joy is just really buried under a huge trauma that you might even not being aware of. And this method actually of going back to a situation that you experienced in your life and rewrite it, change the outcome, is actually something that also within the world of manifestation and law of assumption from Neville Goddard is recommended to do. So I found it very interesting because that's a method that I know from the shamanic work as well. But it just has the same principle that you can, on a spiritual level, go back to what happened, change what happened, and then watch how the outcome is also changing. And this is really working. Once you are in a better state where you feel better, as with me back then when I felt so much more ease and happiness and lightness in my life, then it's so easy to manifest the things that you want. Because this is basically what all the teachings about manifestation, law of assumption tell you, that you got to be in that situation where you realize you are the spirit, you are the creator of your own life, you have the power, you are divine, you are whole, you are healed, you are everything. And then from there you manifest the things that you want in your life with ease, because you feel easy, you feel loved, you feel healed and whole and all of that. And then from there, I think I have 3 steps for the manifestation that I'm doing over and over and over again since then, which it's just working. So as I said, the first thing is just really manifest from a state of happiness, of abundance, of love, of ease, of joy. And then because more of this stuff will come into your life. You're not depending on any of these manifestations. You're not depending on the money. You're not depending on the partner or whatever it is, the job, whatever it is you want to manifest in your life, because you within feel confident, you feel secure, you feel everything is always working out for me. Like my spirits are taking care of me, or God, whoever you feel having that divine attachment to or that relationship with. And for me, it was the shamanic work that I realized, first of all, I have a spirit, and then also second of all, I am connected with everything. I learned more about my spirit animals, my spiritual teachers, and more I build that trust and confidence that I know what I have to do in my life. And if I don't know, then I can ask my spirits and they know. So that gave me just that feeling of, just like relaxation of everything is really okay. And then from there, I started manifesting all the things that I wanted, not even intentionally. It was not like I thought, okay, I'm going to be an author, or I'm going to manifest like these kind of friends. They just showed up in my life all of a sudden, or my love of my life. I've just got married 21st of December on winter solstice, and it was just the most amazing day that I could have ever wished for. And none of this was really planned, like not the date, not the place. It just really kind of unfolded itself in front of me while I was step by step living my life every day, and just from moment to moment thinking of what will be the next thing to do. What is the next step? What is the next task? And when you are connected through, to your inner self, your spirit or your guiding spirits, whatever you want to call them, then you have this direction in every moment. And this is all you need to do. You don't need to have all these affirmations. You don't need to do the scripting or the religious, just like repeating affirmations, repeating texts, whatever it is. Yeah, it might help you to really reprogram your mind, but doing it from a state of your spiritual place where you are in ease with everything will make manifestation effortlessly. It will just bring you the things that are really making you specifically happy, because your spirits know what makes you happy, right? Even if you don't know, they'll know. And so, for me, I never planned to get married. I never planned to get married in Denmark or at that specific day in the wintertime. It just happened, and I could have not planned it any better than this. It was just really amazing. You can still see, I'm still so I'm still on cloud 9 because it was the most amazing day, and I'm so grateful for all of this that happened. Even my spirits were there with me, and we did some rituals, and it was just perfect in a way I could have never logically planned the whole thing. Also, when I'm traveling, usually, it's the same thing with me. When I'm traveling, I like to put myself in a position where I haven't planned anything, where I'm open to the things that wants to come to me, the things that wants to be experienced through me, with me, for me, whatever. And so that's how I had amazing experiences when I was back then in Japan, for example, where I had that time with the Ainu, the indigenous tribe, something that, would just be so out of reach for many people who think like, I want to spend some time with indigenous people and Ainu, how do I get there? This would be something very, very difficult. But for me, it was just so easy because I was not expecting it. I was just not planning it. I was open to, whatever comes to me is okay. And all of a sudden, I found myself in the most amazing situations that I could have never planned, never thought of, never, even think it was possible for me. Like there was one situation, I was in a Shinto temple, and I don't know, for some reason, one of the Shinto priests, he grabbed my arm and he pulled me with him into the temple to be witness of a ritual that they did over there. And I remember my Japanese friend, she looked at me, she's like, oh, her face, got like, oh my God, Maddie. And I didn't know what was the problem. I thought like, wow, I felt this was a really sacred thing that I was allowed to take part in. So I was very thankful, very humble. But after the whole ceremony, she told me, Maddie, this is actually something that never happens. First of all, you're a woman and, you wouldn't be allowed in the temple because only the male priests are allowed there. And the other thing is you are not, Japanese, you're a foreigner, you're from Europe. And so this was basically unthinkable of, or that was unheard of, right? And it just happened in that very moment. And I had many, many situations like that in my life where things that were out of reach for, if you would think about it, out of reach, for example, also becoming an author, for many people, it's out of their scope. It's like, oh my God, this is something so crazy that I could never think of, imagine of this happening to me, because everyone says it's so hard to become an author, to publish a book, to have a successful book. This is just so rare, 1 in a million times, right? And for me, it was easy, a piece of cake. And I'm not telling you to brag here or anything like, I'm just showing you that it is possible. Everything you want is possible within a change within a moment. This with the book happened for me when I was 10 minutes on a stage presenting the research with my rabbits. And then within a year, kind of 1.5 years, I published my book. All of a sudden, it became almost a bestseller. It was translated within different kind of languages. I was on stage. I was on the TV. My whole life changed just because of these 10 minutes. And it was not planned. I didn't do it just because I wanted to become an author. I did it because I felt the urge to do it. There was that moment where I thought, this is a good idea right now, right? And this is how manifestations happen. When you are open, when you're in a moment and you have an idea, and you're just like, okay, I'll should just check that out. I'll just try that. I'll contact that person, or I'll try that stuff. Do something new, and then you never know what will come out of it. There's always a good reason why you feel compelled to do something. But I think it has to do with your position, where you are at in your life. And if you're sad, if you are depressed, if you don't feel well, there is a reason for that. And for me, I just wanted to change that. I wanted to find the reason why. Why is it like that? And I could have given up on it. I thought maybe this is just the way it is. Maybe this is how life is, that over time you become depressed, and you're not healthy. This is just the way of life. But I deep down, I felt that desire and that knowledge that no, it's not like that. I felt that desire to be happy, to be healthy, to have a fulfilled life, where I do the things that I love, and to feel ease in my life. So I kept looking for methods. I kept looking and searching. And I think this is very important, that this inner desire, that inner stirring that we have, is a stirring from the divine, from the spirit, from the universe, that we should listen to. And then once you start listening to, it will guide you to do the steps that are necessary in order for you to get what you want. And this is all that manifestation is about. And I don't say that you have to do all these shamanic methods, or you have to do the healing work, or you have to do and sit do the meditation. But I do think that there's some things that might have happened in our life that really are so blocking ourselves from getting what we really, really want, that it's worth to look at it. And as I told you, with my experience, I had one session with that lady that cost me maybe 100 euros. I don't know how much that was, but it changed my whole life. It changed my whole life. And I was open to try out new things. That was the one thing that just really changed it all for me. And since then, I am fulfilled, I'm happy, I still have that ease going in my life. And it just really brought back the balance for me in my life. And now manifestation is easy because I'm doing it from a point of happiness, from a point of joy, fulfillment, being connected with everything. So this is basically it. And so, as I said, manifest from that point where you are feeling in ease and happiness. This is a good way to start. And I heard one of the manifestations called Missy Renee, which I really like. So I recommend her channel here too, where she said, if you want to, for example, have a new body, when you manifest your body out of shame, what's most likely to get? You manifest more shame. You manifest change out from something negative, like you manifest shame from shame. So really address that shame. Why do you shame yourself? What is it that you feel shameful about your body? Why is it like that? So really observing yourself, asking, why do I feel like that? Why is that? Where does that heaviness come from? Where does that shame come from? And then observe what kind of answers come up. It could be just like one little sentence, and that this is it. You don't need to go through further healing or methods or whatever. But sometimes it could be more than that. And I think it's worth to address these things, definitely. And so, many people also say, then you have to be in that wish fulfilled. And you will realize it's way easier to be in a wish fulfilled once you are in that, in that state where you feel just inner harmony, where you feel inner peace, inner wholeness. It all starts within us. It all starts with our inner reality, what we feel, what we think, what we desire. It all comes from within here. And if you pay attention to that through, for example, just meditation, sit down, observe yourself, observe your emotions, observe your body reactions, where you feel tension in, and then from there, step by step, you'll get so familiar with yourself, and you get to know yourself, what you think about yourself most of the time. And this is all manifestation is. This is where it starts. Just observe yourself, see what's going on within you, what's really there. Where is the discrepancy, or where's that, the dissonance between what you want and what's there, and then figure out why it's like that. Because what you see in your outer environment, as many people say, this kind of like the past. This is what you manifested and what came out from the past, and this is all your fault. I would be careful saying this is all your fault. Like with me, having that abuse, this is all my fault. Like it's hard to hear that. I think definitely what I would rather say is that what we see in the 3D environment is definitely the outcome of what has happened to us from the last couple years in our environment, our past. It's definitely influenced how we think about ourselves, how we make decisions, what we do, what we long for our lives, and that this is an expression of it. So it's not specifically our fault, I would say, but it definitely is our lifetime experience, our history that is expressing itself. And so there's good news, because then we can look back and find the things that happened to us that has that influence on the reality that we have right now with us. And this, I think I talked about the revision work as one of the manifestation methods, where you go back to a specific experience that you had in your life, close your eyes, imagine that situation, then you rewrite it. And so with that, you really change the energy of that event in your life, and it will change also your 3D reality. So you see, it's all connected with your inner reality. I did a shamanic journey once where I asked my spirits, what is reality? And they said, it's not what you think it is. The reality is not what you see around you, the real world. This is actually not the reality. The reality is really what happens within you. When I go on a shamanic journey, it's like I see different worlds. I'm going into different realms, and this is reality. This is where everything starts on the spiritual level, on a spiritual aspect. That's why you as a spirit, you can create from your spiritual aspect and then bring things into reality. And this is a great power that we have. And so another tip for the whole manifestation thing is that things have to get normal for you and also easy for you. As I said with my book, for example, or with the traveling, all the things that I experienced, that if I would have thought, this is what I want to manifest, I want to become an author, then I might have thought, well, oh my God, this is so hard to manifest, because, it is so hard to become an author, specifically a published author. If you want to have your book translated, this is like, it happens 1 in a million times. This is just not, how I'm going to achieve that. But since it was not my plan to really become an author, I just opened myself up to all the possibilities out there. And then it happened, as I said, very, very easy. So it was like, I never put it on a pedestal. I never thought, well, this is so much out of reach. Oh my God, this is out of reach. The same with my body. I had that actually for a while, that when I felt so heavy, I also was kind of heavy. I had more kilos on me. I didn't feel really comfortable in my body. And it was always something like being fit and slim was always something so out of reach. It's like, oh my God, this is just something that can only people achieve who, I don't know, work going crazy on exercise and who are dieting like crazy. And I came from that whole diet culture, so I didn't want to go back there. And so I put that on a pedestal, feeling sexy, feeling attractive on my body, having the body I always wanted. And it seemed so out of reach for me, as I already felt so heavy. So, and it was hard for me to motivate myself to go and exercise, because I was just depressed and heavy, and all this negative energy was in me. And once I did the shamanic work on that, then the lightness came back, and I also lost these kilos effortlessly. And I think it also had to do with me, from that whole abuse thing. It was for me a protection. Being bigger was like, take, having that distance to other people. Also, maybe on an unconscious level, I wanted to not feel maybe so attractive, to attract men and their attention. So there was just so much more to it. And as I said, this example only to show you that there is a reason for why you have certain feelings, why you feel the way, why you are, you can't imagine or you can't manifest the things that you want. There is always a reason. You just got to figure out, what is that reason? Where does that come from? And be the observer of your own life, be the observer of your thoughts, of your emotions, of your inner state. And then from there, you can see, okay, what's coming up. You can either solve it yourself with, as I said, revision work, go back. And if you think like, oh my God, this is something so heavy, and that could be really something very traumatic, I don't want to work through this on my own, then I definitely recommend to find help, someone who, knows about traumatic work. As I said, for me, it was the shamanic work that helped really, was the main breakthrough I had with. And then from there, you can see how things are changing for you. So, yeah. And the other thing is also, people keep saying, what if I can't see it in the 3D? I can't see it yet. I can't see it yet. As I said, with my spirits, they told me this is not the reality. It all starts within you. And this is like a mirror, but more a mirror that is, how you say, late. It's like something happens within you, and it takes some time to the things to rearrange in your environment. And I have a nice analogy for that. My husband and I, we want to sell our place here. And so we're already kind of working and changing things and moving stuff, and also having, only one room now that we're living in. So at least we wanted to try and make it more nice. And so we rearranged things. And for 2 weeks, it was just like chaotic. Everything was all over the floor. We couldn't step anymore. I couldn't find my cats anymore. They're just like all over the place. And so I made a video about this. And it took like 2 weeks for this whole chaos to be present in my life. And I was like, oh my God, this will never change. And all of a sudden, things like that, just soft. All of a sudden, things were rearranging themselves. And after that, our place was amazing. It looked so much cleaner. We kind of got rid of a lot of stuff. And this, how I feel, is also working with our environment or our 3D reality when we start manifesting. And I made another video about this, that maybe sometimes things can get more chaotic first, because old systems are breaking apart, rearranging themselves new to become better. And this is a law of nature. You see it everywhere in nature. When animals die, plants die, you have their destruction, and then from there, new things can be built, and they're really taking apart the single units, and new life can be built from there. So this is just like, don't get discouraged if the things are not showing up in your life yet. be rest assured that universe is, is working around you, and things are working out for you. The same with my wedding. As I said, there were a couple things that, like my flower bouquet was not the way I wanted it. There was like, I ordered white roses, and when I unpacked my bouquet, it was just, the roses looked like yellowish pure in color. So it was awful, and I was so sad. I was like, oh my god, what am I going to do now? And then there were a couple white little flowers in it, which I liked, and there were like a couple blue ones in it too. So I just removed the yellow roses and put them aside, and kind of made my bouquet new, which I liked it much better then. It was more light, it was much smaller, and it was really beautiful. And then the roses, I actually later on found out that my spirits told me this is a gift for the spirit of the sea, where we were in Iro at that island in Denmark. And so we kind of threw the roses into the sea. And I also got the message from the spirit of the island that this was a gift to us. Every rose was a wish that we could, send into the ocean. And it was just so beautiful. When I'm telling you this, I'm close to cry because, another example of how the spirits take care of you, how how you are guided and you're protected, and everything is always working out for you. Not only because you tell yourself as an affirmation, and eventually you think like, okay, this is ingrained now in my brain, but I'm actually don't believing it. But working from that spiritual aspect of your life, working from that shamanic worldview, where everything is connected. And then, you have your spiritual guides that are protecting and guiding you. And then you really, truly feel that you are guided, you are protected. Nothing can happen to you. You know what to do. This gives you peace and harmony and happiness. And from there, everything comes effortlessly to you. I also have a nice analogy I just thought about the other day. Like for me, before I discovered the shamanic methods and had that, healing with the whole abuse thing, I felt being on an ocean, which was life, and just being in a tiny little nutshell, and like that little life-saving boat where it's just so small and it's so unstable. Like every wave was just going up and down, and I was like turning it over and being afraid of just falling into the ocean, drowning any moment. And once I discovered shamanism, the shamanic methods, and having the connection to my spirit guides, I feel like I'm still on that ocean. I'm still in life, but now I am in a luxury boat that is so stable that no storm, nothing can kick it over. And I have all my cards. I definitely know where to go. I have my wheel in my hand, so I am the captain of my boat, and nothing can happen to me, and I can just enjoy the ride. And this is how I feel, and this is really what I wish and think of everyone should feel about their own lives, to be the captain of your own boat, going wherever you want to go, and rest assured that you are safe. Yeah, with these words, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful 2025 with all the manifestations becoming real for you and showing up in the 3D world. And if you need help with this, also, if you want to have a shamanic session with me, then you can send me an email down here. My website is almost ready, so I'm working on it. I was very busy. And yeah, thank you again for watching. Here's also some more videos about shamanism, meanwhile, if you want to watch until the next video comes out. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye bye.